Right, I'm going to hopefully show you the new meeting information gathering form that Simon and I have been working on using the delegation portal to be able to gather information from partner organisations. So the first thing is a standalone form, so it needs to be generated from a child with a referral. So I've got one of our test clients here, Boris Test. To generate the information gathering form, you go to Forms, start a new one, and it's Meeting Info Gathering. Start a new one. It isn't completed yet, but it's in concept. So I'll just show you what we're planning on doing. So the idea being that you say we're going to have a core group meeting on the 9th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Because of that, we're going to want the information returned no later than 24 hours before that to allow us to do whatever we need to do to generate that ready for the meeting to happen. We're going to go through and we're going to specify which of our partner organisations we want representation from. So we want everybody effectively, and other would be, when this form is finished, would allow you to invite people that aren't specified in this list. So for instance, the example I used with Catherine the other day was if you was wanting a representative from another authority, if there was say a child was moving authorities or something, you was doing a meeting around that. Just an example. Now, what you also have is a second column here to say that you require a contribution to the meeting. Only the health one works at the moment. I've got one of my colleagues is taking what I've built and expanding it to cover all the other ones on the partnership list here. But by saying you need a contribution from health, if you notice up here, the health contribution tab suddenly appears. And hopefully the same would be true if you also said that, we want police there, we don't want a contribution, but we do want contribution from health, from education, health, and from the school themselves. But otherwise, we don't actually want contributions from them, and so that will control which tabs are shown. Now, at this point, the admin can. I'll just show you the form before we do it, sorry. So this is the actual information gathering element of it. So you've got details about the professional and whether the professional will be attending the meeting or not. Information about the contribution. These are the questions that Simon has designed already, and been agreeing with our partnership on a form that he was making that was going to be a lot more of a Word thing that he sent out and then received back, and then somebody had to type onto the system. But obviously we've been able to do something a lot better with it, as I'll show you in a minute. So we've got the contribution detail, and we've got this idea of the professional's opinion of the current plan, or the current whatever, of between 10 and 0 being that they feel the child isn't safe with the current plan in place, and 10 feeling that they are, and then details of why they've done that and whatever. So at the moment, your admin or the social worker themselves, or the IRO, whoever's doing this, would delegate this form. So they click on health contribution. This is what we want to delegate out, and to make it really like it's reality, I've created a North West Boroughs group, and this would be the group you would send anything you wanted the North West Boroughs to contribute towards to. But at the moment, I'm the only person in that group, so it doesn't matter. I've given them a due date of Monday, and I'm confirming that the user is allowed to see the current answers. So what that does is, if I'd have already pre-filled some of the stuff in, so where things are pre-filled with regards to what type of meeting it is, what date it is, what date the meeting is on, and what when you want it back for, they can see that information, because that's information that's being pushed out from our system. Because this is like a thin edge of the wedge for using this sort of thing. You can also think of this as being a mechanism that you could share information with people, but obviously that's where this tick really does come in to be important, that you need to make sure that the person you are sharing it with is allowed to see the information that you've recorded. So, for example, if you were want to send some information about a child's plan out to a foster carer or something like that, we could build a form in which you could send that information onto a secure portal that the foster carer could go and look at, and then the foster carer could tick something that's to say, yes, I'm happy, I've received this information. It then would come back to us, and then we've got that all recorded nice and neat, so that we know that, you know, at no point can that foster carer turn around and say, I've never had sight of that plan or anything like that. So anyway, so we're going to confirm that we send that across to North West Boroughs, save and delegate. Now it's grayed out now because it's saying that that is with the North West Boroughs tray for completion. If I was to go back, you notice all the fields that I could type into, I can't anymore because it's out for work with North West Boroughs. So I'm going to go and pretend to be a North West Boroughs officer now. So I'm going to log in to the professional portal. So this is available online to people who we've set up and then they've registered themselves. So there's security there, in that people can't just come and willy-nilly register and sign themselves up and say that they are, you know, a member of North West Boroughs and things like that. We have to have set them up on our side as a member of that North West Boroughs group, as somebody that should be using the portal, and then they need to complete the access on their side by registering on this portal, by doing this over here, which is really easy. It's dead simple. You're using it a lot in adults at the moment. When I sign in with my password, you get the two-factor authentication, so it emails you a 8-digit code just to make sure that it is you. So this is being emailed to the email that you've set up on there, just to confirm that you've not, you know, got access to somebody's PC with the password saved as it is on mine. So we've got 1562 3316. Oh, I'll be unable to log in because I pressed enter too soon. There you go. Now this, don't worry about this. This is something that only seems to happen to me. Nobody else gets this. I am logged in. It just thinks I'm not. And when I go to tasks, I get my tasks. So these are the forms that have come from the adult system that I'm currently dealing with, and they're in my tray. And also we've got the new North West Boroughs form that's come from Boris Test to me, and I'm going to pick that up as a member of that team. And now it's here for me to complete. So I'm only seeing, I've got the demographic information about the child that we're on about, just to make sure I have fixed this in the test version where it does show the meeting date and the contribution to be returned by date. And then we start with somebody, you know, saying I'm from North West Boroughs. It's Mike Roberts. I'm health. I'm a district nurse. And I will be attending the meeting, and I'm going to just put a lot of stuff in just to show you how it works. And I'm going to score it a 7. And now I'm going to save this first. So I'm going to save that down just to show you what happens. So I've not submitted that back yet. I'm saying I've not finished with this form. I'm still working on it. I've saved it for future. But what has happened is, if I just close that down and I go to the meeting form there, I can now see that information that has been saved down already on the form. It's not completed yet, but I can see where they're up to. So the admin can see that that's actively being dealt with, that the person has recorded who's filling it in and that they're going to be attending, but they're still kind of working through some of this information. I'll close that down right here. So I'm going to I'm going to attach some additional information, which is going to be one of the random error pictures that I have multiple versions of on my system. Or I can do a Simpsons image, that'll be good. Oh no, it won't. There you go. And I'm going to say, and now I'm going to submit that contribution back. It goes off my list, goes off the list of my teams. It goes into the recently submitted. As you can see, I've done a few of these recently. So they get cleared out after about 2 or 3 weeks. So the partner organization is able to see that they've returned these things and are able to see a PDF version of what they sent back. And as you say, as it says there, after 10 days that goes, and then they can save that if they want or whatever, but that's up to them. So we're finished now. That professionals returned that, and we're back in LCS. So back in LCS on here, we now have the information as it's submitted. We have that attachment that I sent through as well. And we can progress to sign off because we've now got that yes, health are attending and they did return their contribution, and I can finalize this assessment because nothing's outstanding and we are done. That's a completed meeting form now. We can make a PDF of it containing all the information returned by all the different organizations, and the idea being is that this really simply makes a very good pack for a meeting that you can say, here's what everybody contributed to the meeting. It's set in stone, it's in their own words, because as you might have saw, because we delegated that out, you can't overwrite what the health colleague has put in, you can't overwrite what the police officer's put in. It is their contribution, not your feeling on it, not how it's been typed in by an admin or changed in some way. It is the words that they submitted to that, and as you can see there, even to the point of, because I'm a named person, Mike Portal Test on that portal, you know that it was me that submitted that form on that date. So it is Mike Portal Test's words in that health contribution, which I think is really, really useful. And then yeah, so you can, not only that, but because of the fact that all your admin's doing is not typing this stuff up or creating the pack themselves or feeding this in, all they're doing is chasing, which they'd have to do anyway, and noting down whether or not the contribution has been returned. We then get statistics on, you know, how many of the requests for contribution that health are actually returning on for meetings, and that allows us to be able to feed that back to our partners and go, oh, you know, you're dropping, you've only hit 70% this month of things that you that we've asked you to contribute to, and allow for that. So it's not a stick, it's more of just instead of you going to them and saying we're struggling to get the contributions back, you have at your fingertips that data that says you just haven't returned 30% of the contributions we've asked to meetings this time, and it becomes less of a he said she says, more of a, well, you know, it's here, it's in black and white that you didn't return them, and that's it. Like I say, this is a good example of this delegation ability. It can be used for an awful lot of other things. I know Catherine was talking about using it for allowing external moderation of audits and things like that, and that's something that's really interesting to do. But essentially, any part of LCS that requires a partner to contribute or to sign off on or anything along those lines is something that is open to using this delegation portal, and sending it directly to these people for them to directly update that onto LCS without them needing to have a log on, without them needing to have gone through training to use LCS, without us needing to go through all the rigmarole of on the IT side of getting the network okay to be attached to ours. As long as the information sharing around you sending that request to them and getting that information back is there, then this facilitates that with a very, very minimal amount of effort. So that's it. Hopefully that is useful to you all. And please forgive me, this is one of my first recordings, so thank you.